The first time. It was a sunny and busy morning of July of 2017. I was nervous waiting for Franca Faletti, and as usual, I was stressing out myself. This time, I was regretting for not having checked out further information about her career, as if I had not gone almost through every detail of it. It was actually good to be in the research pavilion in Venice. I felt that it gave me credibility in order to start a new project in a country where no one knew about my work. After a short while and a couple of SMS, I saw her arriving. She was dressed in casual and fresh clothes. That, and the fact that she was a bit late, made me feel good. I got the impression that she was an approachable person. And yes, indeed. After a short introduction, we decided to go for a coffee. There, Franca asked me about my interest on the attack. I tried to explain her in my poor and mistaken Italian my general interests, two of my previous works, and the reasons for the new research. I was surprised about her patience for following up what I was saying. And I wondered about what she understood. It seems that she did get something. We went inside the Galleria dell'Accademia after that bad coffee in the touristic bookshop. I like how we entered in. We sneaked in through the back door. Franca talked briefly to a female guard that was sitting there, to later call the secretary. After explaining to Francesca the motives of our visit, we went towards the rooms. I was still quite nervous, and I got very, very excited. Actually, I was surprised by the fact that no memories came back from that first visit during the school trip in 1996. I remember much more the Uffizi Gallery. Did we visit the David at all? One way or another, there, it was. Surrounded by 100 of tourists that seemed more worried about a selfie than the masterpiece itself. Actually, I thought that it was a miserable situation, and that was one of the first aspects that Franca pointed out. We observed the sculpture and the whole scene for a while. Then I thought it was the moment to start making questions. I had so many questions. Like, for example, were you at the Galleria when the Martellata happened? How were you informed about it? Can you recall the guard that was in the room that day? What happened immediately after Piero Cannata dealt the hammer blow? What went detached from the sculpture? How were the pieces collected? Was there any dust in the room? After I pronounced the first question, I got shocked. She, as the former director of the Galleria dell'Accademia, could not describe the details of that 14th of September 1991. She mentioned that was at her office when the martellata happened, but couldn't recall the guard or how the restorers did their primary job. I imagine that in her position there must have been many urgent questions to take care of all at once, like calling the police and then immediately contacting the restorers from the opificio delle pietre dure e lavoratori di restauro. But was she keeping meaningful information, as we just met? And furthermore, why did she refer to the attack as the accident? Dovevo farlo. È una storia di spiriti. È stata una bella Nani, la bella signora del Cinquecento del Veronese, a chiedermi questo. Sapete, ogni tanto la vedo in sogno. Ho colpito piano. Non volevo che le schieghe finissero negli occhi della gente. Anzi, credevo che il marmo fosse più duro, invece si è rotto subito. Questura di Firenze, Ufficio Controllo Territorio. Firenze, lì 14-9-91. Oggetto, riferimento dei fatti della volante Novoli con turno 7-13. Al signore dirigenti i servizi di prevenzione sede. Noi, sottoscritti agenti della Polizia di Servizio, Candi Roberto, agenti di Pasquale Paolo e Balosso Giuseppe, in servizio presso la sezione volanti della locale questura, riferiamo quanto segue. Alle ore 11:45 circa, per ordine della CO, ci siamo portati in questa via Ricasoli numero 60 presso il Museo Accademia delle Belle Arti, dove segnalavano che una persona aveva danneggiato la statua David del Michelangelo. Giunti sul posto, contavamo il dottore Lenza Giovanni, direttore amministrativo, il quale ci indicava una persona sdraiata in terra davanti alla statua David, che poco prima si era resa responsabile del danneggiamento della stessa, colpendola con un martello che veniva recuperato poco distante. Il danneggiatore veniva da noi identificato per Canatta Piero, il quale veniva da noi prelevato e accompagnato presso i nostri uffici per il più a praticarsi nei suoi confronti. Si fa altresì presente che sul posto veniva identificato anche un turista, tale Albertini Nicola, il quale era stato testimone dell'atto vandalico compiuto dal Kanata. Infatti, ci riferiva che mentre stava ammirando la scultura aveva improvvisamente visto il citato Kanata saltare al di là della recinzione che protegge la statua e con un martello colpire la stessa sul piede sinistro, rompendone il secondo dito. Dopodiché il vandalo si gettava a terra, abbandonando il martello. L'Albertini immediatamente avvertiva i sorveglianti del museo, i quali recuperavano il martello usato per il danneggiamento e tenevano sotto controllo il colpevole fino al nostro arrivo. Il martello veniva da noi debitamente sequestrato con atto a parte e il turista veniva da noi invitato in ufficio per essere preso a verbale. Quanto sopra si ferisce per doverosa conoscenza. Gabinetto regionale Polizia Scientifica, sezione sopralluoghi, numero Q2200-26472 di Prot. L'anno 1991 AD 14 del mese di settembre, dalle ore 12:30 alle ore 14 in Firenze. Noi, sottoscritti agenti scientifici Frongia Antonello e agenti Bandinelli Stefano, operatori tecnici addetti al Gabinetto regionale di Polizia Scientifica, preso la questura di Firenze, su richiesta dell'UCT, ci siamo recati presso la Galleria dell'Accademia, in questa via Ricasoli, numero 60, per ivi eseguire i rilievi tecnici relativi al danneggiamento perpetrato da tale Kanata Piero. Sulla statua si osserva la frattura di una porzione anteriore della terza falange del secondo dito del piede sinistro. Tale rottura ha esposto una superficie di marmo bianco di forma pressoché circolare. Fatto, letto, confermato e sottoscritto. Frongia Antonello, Bandinelli Stefano. David di Michelangelo. Un restauro in punta di piedi. I frammenti recuperati sul posto erano 7. 3 di maggiori dimensioni, all'incirca quelle di una mandorla, e 4 che potremo paragonare a chicchi di caffè. Di questi ultimi, 2 apparentavano alla zona interna del dito e non risultavano attigui agli altri frammenti. Trattandosi inoltre di parti non lavorate, si è deciso di non riutilizzarli nella ricostituzione della parte danneggiata. In accordo con la direzione del museo, si è infatti mirato ad un restauro che cancellasse nei limiti del possibile gli effetti dell'aggressione, subita dal David. The mineralogical, petrographic, and physical characteristics of the marble by Fabio Frattini. Two fragments of the statues, left toe F1, F3, were used to carry out mineralogical and petrographic analysis and to determine the main physical properties of the stone. The aims of the studies were to classify the marble, to determine its potential durability, to determine its state of conservation. The marble of the David consists solely of calcite. We must, however, bear in mind that this test is not fully representative of the marble's composition throughout the statues, since this type of marble generally contains unevenly distributed impurities of quartz, feldspars, micas, and pyrite. As to the marble state of conservation, we observed evident decay phenomena indicated by the widespread separation between crystals, resulting in the development of intercrystalline porosity. This porosity was caused by the thermal dilation phenomena of the calcite crystals, which in turn fostered water circulation when the statue was still outdoors and exposed to rainfall, and the development of a new porosity dissolution. The decay phenomena observed in this fragment of marble can be explained by the position of the toe, which has probably suffered greater exposure to rainwater. Moreover, it is an area of fine sculpting that created a network of microfissures. However, we must also bear in mind that the microstructure of the statue's marble, characterized by subrectilineal contacts among the grains, is particularly sensitive to thermal dilation phenomena. This is a physical alteration that causes the cohesion of the material and gives rise to the phenomenon known as marmo cotto. All right, blinding light, all right. This light so bright. Shocking, how shocking, how shocking, how shocking, shocking. Bright, blinding light, spinning, 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 we were spinning, spinning. Our orientations we lost. Spinning, our orientations we lost. Spinning. Cold, 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 cold. Cold. Our orientations we lost. What was that? What was that? How strange, what was that? Something gone. What was that something gone? What was that? What was that a cushion bang? What was that a cushion bang? What was that a cushion bang? What was? But when Michelangelo sculpted, vibrant, crystallized, they were. But that a cushion was. What was that a cushion bang? What was? What was that a cushion bang? The speed calmed, smoother with the time. The spiral movement turned. Later, days later, scientists we heard went to talk to director Faletti. They came. Into sugar we could have turned if the marmocotto they hadn't solved. Weathering had made that 300 years of rain we had. Ottaroli, that little holes of the marble, Ottaroli, the Taroli made that. But still, the rain we miss, this tickling feeling, the water running down, refreshed our crystals were. The water running down, refreshed the crystals were. Refreshed the crystals were. Now, we swing so small, now we swing so small with the air. Now, we swing so small. Now we swing so small. Now we swing so small with the air. We have a long history, but are contemporary. Not being affected by the gravity is fucking hard. Most of the humans dream of being light, able to float and move as if nothing. But no, they do not really know what they mean. When something or someone moves near you, you, want it or not, are dragged by the air that this something or someone has displaced. Sometimes it's a simple swing, like a light breeze, but at moments it's like a real hurricane with gales that come and go in different directions. This is exactly what happens on the busiest days. So today, the last Sunday of the month. In just a few minutes, I went from Sala dell'Orcagna to the hall of the 13th and 14th century painters. From the 13th century painters' hall to the bookstore. From the bookstore to the corridor. From the corridor to Galleria dei Prigioni. From the Galleria dei Prigioni to the Sala del Colosso. From the Sala del Colosso back to the bookshop. From the bookshop again to Galleria dei Prigioni. And from Galleria dei Prigioni to Tribuna del David. It seemed that I was about to get out from the Tribuna del David, but no, I was returned there. I was returned to the Tribuna del David. I have already circled the sculpture 111 times. I'm so tired of this. Why that baker's apprentice had to come to visit here 3 months ago? At least it could have been on a windy day. Then a swallow would have caught me in its aerial search for insects. But no, here I am among these microparticles of marble, who consider themselves exceptional. How much I miss my warm and friendly companions. Yes, filled with gluten, but always laughing. Instead, those are cold and arrogant, and even worse, antiquated. Who can understand this 15th century prose talking? We, the microparticles of spells, also have a long history, but are contemporary. We were harvested last year at the Alta Valle in Graffagnana. Really not, as those old ladies. Of course, they themselves knew, but humans could not trace from which quarry of Carrara the marble block was extracted. A man had to come to hit the sculpture as if one tiny sample could have not been taken before for reading purposes. New Materialism of Dust by Jussi Parikka. Each particle of dust carries with it a unique vision of matter. Movement, collectivity, interaction, affect, differentiation, composition, and infinite darkness. A crystallized database or a plot ready to combine and react, to be narrated on and through something. There is no line of narration more concrete than a stream of dust particles. Gracias.